The Sequential Artist Workshop. At SAW, they teach more than comics and graphic novels. SAW is a place you can come for a week or a year and forge your personal creative path in visual storytelling. A fully functioning, 2-level studio, a stock library of inspiration, reference, and history, a risograph printing station, and first-rate instructors full of knowledge, talent, experience, and generosity of spirit. Visit sequentialartistworkshop.org for more information. And then let's get the panel rolling.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Good? Yeah? All right. We'll just take a moment here, just get everyone to introduce themselves real quickly. I have to my left, Michael DeForge. Hello. Chuck Forsman. Hello. And Anna Haifish.
Hi.
So today we're here to talk about Oily Comics, a great micro publisher going on right now. The first question that I feel like I would like to ask you is why take the route of self-publishing, and like why mini comics in general? And I know why I enjoy them as a fan of what you're doing, but why go that route for yourself personally?
Well, let's see. It's I think the biggest reasons are I'm impatient and I like to do things quickly when I have an idea because my enthusiasm runs out pretty quickly. So self-publishing is great for that because you can draw a comic in a week and have it printed and ready to go really quick. And also when I started Oily, you know, I started. My friend Max gave me
Max who?
Max de Rodriguez from Belgium. He's a Belgian cartoonist. He did this comic Moose, which I started printing, and he gave me that issue, and it was just this mini comic, 8 pages, and I was, you know, it wasn't the first mini comic I saw, but I was just really impressed at how simple it was, but how much he was able to do in just 8 pages, and so I started my own mini comic, The End of the Fucking World, and also the thing I like about it is it sort of removes a lot of expectations, and I mean there are expectations I put on myself, you know, like, you know, imagining people reading it, or like, you know, I think it should be better, but doing the cheap $1 books, it's sort of it takes a lot of pressure off, and it frees me up, and it seems to be, you know, and of course when I'm having the most fun, that's when people respond to the work more.
Let me open this up to Michael and Anna. Michael, I know that there's a great history of self-publishing in Canada, but for you personally, it feels like you still have work being put out by publishers, but you still seem drawn to create your own work in that format as well. What are your feelings towards it?
Yeah, well, some of it is similar to what Chuck was saying. Like, there's less pressure if you're just investing all the time in it and money in it yourself, and you can put it out faster. So you can, yeah, it's easy to experiment that way, and I also like having the freedom to like throw out stuff.
How much do you throw out?
Or not like a huge amount, but like I once gave up on a mini comic halfway through, and it's really easy. Like, or like 2 issues in, and it's really easy to do that when someone else isn't publishing it. So that like it's lower expectations, lower pressure, and I also just like working in general in a lot of different formats, and it just so happens that if you want to draw something like 5.5 inches wide, it's easier just to, and like that's 16 pages, it's easier to put that out yourself and faster, and you know, it makes more financial sense. So I like working in a lot of formats, so it just happens that mini comics is one.
Yeah, I think Michael's a good example of when you do mini comics, you can do a lot of experimenting. Like I feel like he switches up his style a lot, and you know, he's able to try new things and on like small projects.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Anna was making
also
some,
like, I would say like publishing houses in Germany, they would never ever publish the stuff that ends up in mini comics, so that's like the best way to like publish like dirty comics and like nasty stuff or like stupid stuff. Like that doesn't make any sense or something. Like publishers would like totally like couldn't like wait, it would be like, oh no thanks, like we will never sell it, but like we sell it, like it's kind of cool, like there's definitely a need for that, and like so. And it's also cool to like publish stuff like really cheap, because I I personally hate like spending like $40 or like $30 like on a book. So $3 is cool, or $1.
Yeah, do you ever feel that way though? You're talking about the use of mini comics. Do you ever use it as a platform for trying out something experimental? Like, have you ever had an idea that you're like, I could try this out, but I'm gonna try this here first and see how it works out? No?
It's never like as, like I think I end up doing that, but it's never as, the process isn't really that linear. I'm not like, well, like I'll refine it here and then do a proper version later. But I think just doing a lot of short pieces in general, you kind of figure things out, or you have like small ideas you want to try out, and then once you finish it, you think like, oh, I could go a bit further with this on another project and form another, or whatever it might be.
See, Chuck, I wanted to ask you about the evolution of Oily. Like, you talked a little bit about its beginnings with your own mini comic and with Max de Rodriguez's work, but how did you go about your thinking of expanding it as much as you have in the past couple of years?
Well, it's actually only been 1 year, pretty much. I think I started last summer. Yeah, it just, I started doing my comic, and then I started putting it out monthly on such a regular basis, and the reaction was really good, and I really liked, it was sort of bridging that gap of working on a huge book or putting stuff on the internet. I felt like it was a nice in-between. And just the experience was so good of making a small book again that I asked Max if I could publish his stuff in America, because it was already in the right format, and then Melissa, who is not here, Melissa, I love you.
Yeah. Also, let me get a moment here to say that Melissa Mendez was supposed to be here on this panel with Chuck. I feel that she's an integral part of Oily Comics. It's too bad she couldn't make it. There was a minor emergency. So hopefully she's doing good. Hopefully what's the name of the member of the family?
Bruce, our cat, got sick the day we were leaving. But he's doing okay. He's happy.
You made an interesting point, though, talking about working monthly. I wanted to actually ask you guys, you're all very productive. I was just kind of wondering, like, what your take is on productivity. Like Anna, it feels like in the past couple of years, I'm just like always like, there's another Buddies? How did that happen so fast?
Well, I don't know, like, sometimes, like, I feel like I really want to, like, draw, like, pretty pictures, and, like, when I get sick of that, and, like, Buddies are kind of like my dirt corner, kind of like I would, like, take a time off from my desk and, like, just spit out the comic, like, in, like, 2 days, and just, like, copy it and, like, sell it online or something. So, but it's not on a regular basis, so I totally stopped, like, making these, like, real, like, rough copy series, because I'm kind of done with that. So now I'm kind of concentrating on, like, making it nicer, like with a screen printed cover and, like, nicer staples, and just like to make it easier for people to read, something like that.
Michael, would you call yourself a productive artist?
Yeah, I think I try to be productive.
I think that most of us are terrified of your productivity.
It's nice of you to say.
Can I say we're terrified? That's dark, man. But no, seriously, I feel like I've heard rumors of how your productivity has gotten so high. I'd be interested just to know, like, is it like, do you have like a certain working process, or is it just totally like just like in the moment, natural? It's like, I feel like making this comic now, or do you have like a studio set up? I'd be really, just expand on your working habits.
I imagine it's pretty similar to most cartoonists. Like, I'm lucky enough that I make a living doing commercial web work, so I get to draw in my house all day, and it's like I don't have to go somewhere else. I'm just in my room. But I think, like, I try to hold myself to deadlines, but it still feels kind of like organic. Kind of like it's sometimes easier to draw comics than other things, but I usually just like, well, I should do a page today. I'll do it. So I imagine that's how most people set up. So I don't think it's that different